Hey, good morning, guys. It's Morgan coming to you with another daily Shlog. It is a drop-dead gorgeous morning here in the valley. It rained last night, so hopefully it rains even more and gets the dust down and traction up for Thursday night ride. But it's Tuesday. Super stoked to say that Brady Metter is in town to do some suspension work. Really excited about that. It's gonna be an awesome day. Lots of work to do. We got the go-ahead on a few motor projects, so hopefully we get those things done here today or tomorrow. And yeah, lots of stuff going on, guys. Oh, also, quick update on the Morgan weight loss challenge. I know I haven't been saying much about that, just been busy, kind of forgot about it. But anyway, I am finally solidly in the 180s again. 187 this morning. Super stoked about that. On my way to hopefully maybe even into the 170s eventually. So it's been a long time since I've weighed that much. Yeah, I feel great. All of you guys who are maybe joining me on this journey, I hope you're doing awesome. Hope you're losing weight. Maybe comment below if that's working for you or if it's not. And any way I can help motivate you or give you some ideas. Anyway, let's get on with motorcycle stuff. Let's get on to the daily Shlog. All right, guys, we're at the shop. We got piles of parts to check in, but most importantly, is Zach is still very angry, as always, which is good. But Brady Metter is here doing suspension. How you doing, Brady?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. And what are we working on right now, Brady?
06 YZ250 two-stroke.
Brady loves that because Brady likes to give me a really hard time on here on the YouTubes about 4-strokes and 2-strokes and carburetors and fuel injection and all that. And it warms my dark little soul to see him valving suspension on a carbureted 2-stroke. And it, because he's going to make it really awesome, just like they are all the time. I'm so happy. Look at him. It's making him happy too. He's just not admitting it.
Yep.
Yeah, Brady's here. He's doing suspension. Awesome stuff going on. Zach's finishing up the 250XC for Mr. Monroe. And yeah, it's off to the races, guys. It's going to be an awesome week. Yeah, I got to go check a pile of parts in. So we're blending daily Schlogs into one bigger, longer one because I just didn't film much yesterday. But I'm now going to make Mr. Brady Metter actually be on camera. He's gonna do it because he's going to do a little bit of explaining about what TBT does. Even though, look at him, he loves this. But what they do, why they're awesome, and why I use them. And first of all, for me, I use them because I've used a whole bunch of different suspension companies, from Precision Concepts down to little local guys, and hands down, TBT has done the best job on all of my motorcycles, and I'm so stoked. So Brady, tell us a little bit about TBT racing.
TBT racing is tuning by Travis. That's where it started. We're a group of owners that all ride and race, and around the country we all work together to come up with some awesome setups, and we can get you dialed in for whatever type of riding you're doing.
And so, guys, that is one of the things I love about TBT, is that it's a bigger company than just a local one guy suspension setup, which is awesome. I mean, for instance, we have a guy here who's really good at suspension work, but he only rides here, and he only rides really gnarly, rocky stuff, and that makes him very one-dimensional in the work he does. So if you don't really like to ride where he tests, then the suspension doesn't work that great. It's still better than stock, I'm not gonna lie, but like, the cool thing about TBT is that they've got all these owners all over the country and actually around the world who are testing, tuning, giving bikes back to people, getting feedback from those people, then putting that back into the company and figuring things out. So super cool what they do. He's right now working on some CRF 450RX forks. So those are Showas, right?
Yep, 49mm Showa.
And what are you doing?
We're going to revalve these to make them work for mountain, single track, and desert.
And so are you, because for the people who don't know, what are you valving, like mid valve, base valve? What's the story?
Mid-speed, base valve, rebound, all of it. We're going to change all that.
Right on.
Put some burley springs in it for a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's like this guy.
Yeah, almost.
Almost. He's not quite that big, but yeah. And so, yeah, what they do, like, I'll check back in when he gets a valve apart so you kind of know what that looks like, because a lot of people really don't know what that means. When you say revalve, it's like, okay. They think about four strokes and the stupid valves that four strokes have.
So a suspension valve is kind of like a leaf spring on a pickup truck.
Oh, there we go.
Where you have all the different layers stacked together, and there's different thicknesses of the shims.
So like,
well, here's a whole bunch of loose ones.
Oh, there.
So
there we go.
So this is like a shim stack. So all these different layers. So there's different diameters, which is the outside, and there's different thicknesses, which is the thick, you know. So you change the thickness and the diameter to build a stack to work like a leaf spring. So when the fluid comes through and pushes on the spring, or on the shim, it works like a spring kind of when it bows down. And so you change the different thicknesses based on testing and diameters and come up with the best setup.
So do you guys do like multiple stage?
Depending on the application. Some of them we do, some of them we don't. This fork is
like, I'm not gonna let you read it so you don't steal the information, but that's the build sheet.
Right. So this one is not. This is single stage. So, but some bikes like your KTM forks that I just did and the Husky that I just did are a dual stage on the base valve.
And what does that do?
It is the slower the oil goes through, it bends over easier than when you get more. It breaks over to the bigger part of the stack.
It puts pressure on the big part of the stack so that it is progressive.
Yeah.
That ish.
Yeah. Ish.
I mean, for people who don't really know what the background. Sweet. So yeah, Brady is phenomenal at this. I actually know Travis, the founder of the company too, and I would consider him a friend. Hung out with him at some Desert Hare and Hound races and things like that, and I have never been to a race where there are so many people running TBT suspension on the top of all the podiums. So, but the cool thing is they can tune it for non-racers too. Like, they can set it up for someone who is just trail riding and make the thing just a lot more fun to ride. Because both Brady and I are of the belief that you just really need to learn how to ride your motorcycle.
Yep.
First. That's the best thing to do.
Spend all day chasing this magic setting when you just need to ride.
Yeah. Buy tires and gas and you'll be stoked. And once you have what you feel like is a really good handle on your riding, then having your suspension set up for you, for me, what it does is it just makes the whole day a lot more fun, a lot more relaxing. It doesn't make me necessarily any faster or better rider. It just makes the whole day just more comfortable. So, right on, guys. Mr. Sheets is dealing. Ooh, where's that carburetor, Sheets?
So angry.
Oh yeah, look at him. He's been here literally all night. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, he's cleaning the carburetor. I wish this had like smell-o-vision because it freaking stinks. And so ride your motorcycle, people. Don't let them sit. Ride the dumb thing. And people are like, well, I don't ride, I'm gonna sell it. Don't do that either. Don't sell it, just ride it. Delete everything else in your life and ride your motorcycle more. Whatever you have to do. And the best thing is to find a woman who supports that, like I have. And then, or you just get angry like Zach Sheets and you just do what you want. All right, guys, take a look at this. That's the accelerator pump area of an FCR carburetor, and that's disgusting. Disgusting. Come on, people. Ride your motorcycles. That's all there is to it. And a lot of people like to blame ethanol gas for that, and it definitely accelerates the badness of the gas, like the gas going bad. But any gas will actually go bad eventually. Ethanol just makes it happen faster. Yeah. let's see what I said. UPS is getting ready to drop off. We'll see what they're bringing us. So we finally got a whole bunch of tires. We're still short of our normal tire amount, but look at that. Super duper stoked because yeah, we've been waiting forever for some of these things. Really happy to see that, making me happy in my little tiny heart. So yeah, I'm gonna check a whole bunch of parts and then I'm gonna get to work. All right, guys, so it's Thursday. We're riding tonight, and it's Brady's last day in the shop. We got him working on the venerable XR650R. It's a pretty clean one, really.
It's because you haven't ridden it.
Exactly. I have not owned that one, so it still looks really nice. Brady's mean to me. So mean. And super duper angry Sheets is working on an older KTM, and I'll show you what we found here real fast. Try not to bother him too much so he doesn't get super mad at me. The kinda, let's see right there, there we go on the exhaust port. See that little bit of aluminum showing through there. Bummer. That means we got to send it out to get plated. So that sucks because it's going to take a while to get that done. And this guy's been waiting a while because we've been waiting on other parts for it because it needed a stator. Yeah, and all that. But anyway, let's move on to what I'm doing right now. Andrew Neal, aka Tumbleweed, has ruined yet another pipe. And so I'm going to be using the Hydroforce to blow it out. And I know I showed you guys that before, but this one should be really good. It's an FMF gnarly. So they actually, the Hydroforce usually works really well on those because it's a high quality steel, high quality pipe, and it usually blows them out you know, pretty well because you can put a lot of pressure in it. So let's check it out. I got it all set up. You already saw that. I'll put a card right up here if you want to watch the Hydroforce video. Sweet, I think that actually looks really good. I mean, it's definitely still bent, but it's a lot straighter than it was. And I didn't have to like heat things up and get them super hot with a rosebud and run the risk of blowing things across the shop. So, sweet, I'm gonna put that back on. Then I gotta straighten his handguards, and I'm gonna turn the power valve out a little bit, and that's actually gonna be a really good topic. So, I'll check in here with you guys in just a second. We have Andrew's bike in its natural habitat, laying on the ground, and sorry, Andrew, but got the pipe blown out. It actually looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with that. Turned out pretty good. Now I'm going to install the red power valve spring in the power valve actuator because there's a little thing going on with these fuel injected two-strokes. It's interesting. So with fuel injection, the fueling that happens is based completely upon a computer making a decision based on a sensor and your throttle and RPM and all that stuff. And it has nothing to do with how much air is actually flowing across the venturi of the throttle body. So that's cool and all, but what it doesn't do is adjust if there's a little bit more air, a little bit less, like elevation, things like that. It's not nearly as smart as your car fuel injection. There's no O2 sensor on the backside to tell if it's doing a good job, any of that. So a lot of these bikes are not running all that well in the mid-range because the power valve is opening at a different time than what the computer has been programmed to think it's supposed to open. And they tell you not to touch it, which is ridiculous, but it's based on some emission stuff and whatever government regulations, which is always junk. So a lot of people are pretty unhappy with the fuel injected TPIs because they're used to the carbureted ones and they get them jetted just right and they snap really well and all that stuff. And the fuel injection ones just don't do that quite as well. A lot of that comes from the power valve not opening right. So what's happening is they've got it tightened down a little too much, and so it's opening later, which makes it just really boring and kind of sluggish. So we're gonna put the red power valve spring in this thing for Andrew, and I think that's gonna help a bunch. We've already turned the adjuster out, and that helped a lot. And I think this is going to kind of finish it off and make it work really good. All right, so here we go. So you just loosen these two little 6mm bolts, 6mm headed bolts. Take this off, and this is where you can actually screw it up. I didn't think you could screw this up, but I had a customer do it, so I didn't think it was possible, but you can. So if you look here, let me get this thing to focus. You'll see that there's a spring. Let's see, come on, focus. Inside the spring there. That's the yellow one that comes in it. So we're gonna take that out. So what you do is you pull this out, pop that off, and you take your spring, you put it right back on like it was, and it kind of clicks on there. Put this in. Here's how you can mess it up. Again, if you're just paying attention and take your time, you probably won't. And it's not, I'm not making, well, I am actually making fun of the guy who did it. I'm not going to tell you who it is. He's a good friend of mine who changed his power valve spring, and all of a sudden his bike didn't run very well at all. So if you look down in there, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a bar in there, and that bar needs to go inside that little like U-shaped thing. What happened was he like hooked it off anyway. He just like, I think he threw it from back here in, and it just fell down below it. Anyway, it wasn't doing anything right. It was a big mess. It didn't work right. So you just want to make sure you get that little hoop over that. There we go. There we go. It's just that easy. So if you're fiddling with your power valve stuff, just take your time, take it out, look at it really close, put it back in like it went in, and you'll be good to go. If you mess it up, it doesn't seem to hurt anything, but it makes the bike run like absolute crap. So there we go. I'll check in when we get this done. I gotta straighten up his bark busters, and then he'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, guys, welcome to the final day of our weekly Shlog this week. Don't worry, we're getting back to the daily videos. Hopefully next week. We got a lot going on. It's the 4th of July tomorrow. Woohoo! Happy birthday, America. But this is the last day of this week's Shlog because we're taking tomorrow off, and then we'll get back after it. Mr. Sheets has been taking out his anger on this KX450 motor. We're replacing the crankshaft and everything, actually. All new cylinder head. Well, it's not new. I don't think the cylinder head's new. I don't know. He brought me the pile of parts, so it's like a big giant 3D puzzle for Mr. Sheets, which is creating a lot of anger. Look, there it is. See the happy anger? There it is. Yes. Yes. Someone actually just emailed me and said when they stop by, is it best to avoid eye contact with Zach? And yes, that is. He wants you to say hi so he has the recognition, but he does not want you to look at him. But just know that. But yeah, so rebuilding this thing. He's got it all, this half off. We'll get this thing out. We'll find out what happened. I don't know. Oh.
The filter was in backwards. I don't know if that.
Oh, yes! The oil filter was in backwards. So, quick lesson, don't do that. That's awesome. That is probably what happened. It plugs up oil passages for the pump if you do that. It doesn't just like bypass it, which would be the better way to build a motor. You just make it not filter, but it doesn't work like that. So, but you can tell actually what's going on here. When I try to rotate the crank, you'll see that the rod doesn't move at all. So it locked up that bearing, and that's sad for him. So that's a bummer. But anyway, I got a pile of things to ship to people right there. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna come back and get to work. And I hope I'm going to put a crank in an old KX250. This guy brought me a motor and a crankshaft. We bought some bearings and seals. We're gonna split those cases, clean them up really good, install the new crank, get that thing going here for him here real soon. But yeah, I gotta go mail this stuff and get a cup of coffee for me and Zach Sheets, and then yeah, we'll get back after it. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to do before I split those cases, and I'm not 100% sure I'm going to get to that today, but we are putting tires on this beautiful brand spanking new 790R KTM, which honestly is way better looking in person than in the pictures. I always kind of thought the tanks were super ugly down there, and they're not like the most attractive, but it does allow for a lot more gas than like the 690 and things like that, and keeps the center of gravity way down. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We're putting some knobbies on it. This guy wants a little more traction in the dirt. I think those are whatever comes on it, Avon somethings. So yeah, we're gonna put some TKC 80s on this thing. So we'll get the thing up in the air, and if there's anything super interesting, I'll show you guys what's going on. But yeah, other than that, we're gonna slap these things on there and move on to the next job. Thanks guys for joining for the week of Shlog there. I know that's not exactly what a lot of you guys hope for, because it's a whole week packed into one video, but I really appreciate you guys watching and understanding. We're going to get back to the daily Shlogs after next week and my vacation. I just got a lot going on, trying to film videos, get things done, and get ready for vacation, so it's a bit hard. Anyway, it's the 4th of July weekend now, so we're going to go camping and riding over in Sargents, Colorado with the family, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure you stay tuned to that video. It should be coming out shortly after this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as always, guys, I love you so much. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels. And most importantly, I desperately hope that what we're doing at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on and get out and ride your dirt bikes.